If the people pick me them alone, you're a disgrace, man.
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Alrighty, and we are back with you for another segment of Activated Mornings program, and it is time for our commentary with Lyf Compton. Now, I just realized I don't know your second name, but anyway, morning, Lyf.
Who me? My second name?
Yeah,
Anthony.
all right, that's true.
What a friend.
Good.
No,
Good morning. Good morning.
what? You
Good
gonna
morning.
remember it? No.
Yeah, morning, like,
Good morning. How are you? How are you, Rajiv? How are you, Roleza? Yeah.
Your initials are LAC, LAC, LAC.
Yeah. Interestingly, right? I had only one piece of my ID has my correct name on it. Only one piece of ID I have that says Lyf Anthony Compton now. I think that's my driver's license. What happened is that a few years ago I went to get a new birth certificate, and for some reason the person was issuing the birth certificate put Anthony in front of Lyf. So I told you that story already, right?
No, you didn't tell me to bring up the other. Ask you, since when is your name Anthony?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened. The person put Anthony first, so all my documents became Anthony Lyf Compton except my driver's license.
Okay. Oh, so that was the story behind it. All right.
Yeah, I don't know how the person did that, but the person named me over basically. And I only realized it was a problem because one time I had gone to, I think it was Western Union. So I think I had my passport and I had my ID, my driver's license, and the lady said there's two different people because one says Lyf Anthony and one says Anthony Lyf. So that's when I realized it became a problem. But a lot of people had similar stories. I have a friend. Her name is LaFleur, but they put on her birth certificate the person spelled her name LUFLOR. And her name was supposed to be LAFLEUR, but the person put LUFLOR, so she has to go around with that name for the rest of her life that nobody gave to her, except for the person who did the registration.
But you realize that when we realize what person's correct names were supposed to be is when they're doing common entrance, CPEA, no? But for us, when it was common entrance, and I'm sure you remember this person, Letitia, but instead of her name being Letitia, it was spelled Latika on her birth certificate. So from there on, we have to call her Latika and not Letitia. So
yeah, that and there are a lot of people with a similar story with the names being spelled wrong on the birth certificate because of the person doing the registration back in the day or whatever. It's like people didn't really pay much attention that it was spelled right. And it has to stay like that. In order for you to change it, you have to go through a whole long process to get that change. You know what I mean? But on to another note, I keep having to come here and speak about the same thing over and over and over again, right? And I don't know whose fault it is. It's definitely somebody's fault, but I don't know whose fault it is. I don't know who to blame. So I was scrolling social media. I was scrolling Facebook last night, and I saw a friend of mine. She was attacked by a mentally unstable person, and brutally attacked too. She basically what she said is that she was going somewhere a morning, and she saw the person. She hadn't seen the person for a long time, and the person asked her for $2, and she said she didn't have any money. And the person said to her, "Is you something along the line? Are you the same person whose belly I cut out?" And she said that she thought the comments were weird, and she kept walking. And what the person did after is jump kick her in her back. And there's CCTV footage where the person kicked her in her back and sends her sprawling onto the ground, and she's and she said she has never had any problems with the person. She has never any disputes or anything. And yeah, she said that she wake up the next day, she in plenty pain, backache, all kind of ache. She's really calling on the relevant authorities to go and deal with it, right? And it's something we spoke about before, where people are where there are a lot of mentally challenged people on the streets, and you can't tell what they're going to do. But it also speaks of a wider problem where, as we said before, probably on 2 occasions, the authorities do not take this seriously, and there's no comprehensive plan to ever deal with this. You know what I mean? I've heard stories. A police officer told me that one time he was stationed at the Kittels police station, and there was this mentally unstable person that they used to always have to go to get. So the family members would always call him to go to get this person. And the person was always a problem. And at one point they went to get the person, and the person threw gasoline on one of them and run them down with matches. Right? And these are problems that have been existing for years and years and years and years, and then still there is no comprehensive plan of dealing with mentally unstable people in the country. And there are stories, right, that show you that the person or people responsible for the management of these individuals don't care, and they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. There are stories where you hear wrong people have been diagnosed wrong, given the wrong medication for years, and instead of people getting better, they get worse. And then there's no willpower to have these issues resolved or dealt with. We have a serious problem in this country when it comes to mentally unstable people. Serious problem. I don't know. Roleza, I don't know if you remember Webster Woodley.
Mm-hmm. I was wondering the other day how he doing.
Yeah.
Vacation and everything.
Yeah, he's at the mental health center, and he lives out there now. He's on the constant guard. He's on the constant guard, and from all indications, what I hear, some people are saying is that he's doing all right. But I understand that he didn't have he had a different doctor. I understand that he had a different doctor. He didn't have the local people looking at him. He had a different doctor from overseas. So he's on medication. He's doing all right or whatever. I haven't heard any reports of him being rowdy or doing anything or whatever. But he's living. I think he possibly may have to live out the rest of his life at the mental health center.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Uh-huh.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I visited the mental health center, and I met a guy out there. He told me he has been out there. He has been living out there for 30-something years, and he had no interest of going anywhere else. And this is not a person who who seemed to have any serious mental issue to be basically incarcerated in a mental asylum, because that is what out there is. Out there. We give it a nice name, a mental health center, but that is not what is a mental health center. That is a asylum, because when you go out there are people behind bars or whatever. And while some of them are sometimes allowed to leave to go to the shop because they're stable enough to leave and go to the shop and come back. But it needs the whole mental health setup in Civil St. needs a serious overhaul and a serious intervention, because when you look at mental illness, there are people who are considered, as we like to call them, crazy, that medication can help them and they could go on to live normal lives, but they just don't have. We don't have a psychiatrist in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Every time we have a psychiatrist coming to St. Vincent and the Grenadines to work, they don't last long. They disappear after a couple. Because the workload months.
Intense.
Yeah, probably. And then there was an incident where someone said that they like one of them came and they had to get some sort of certification to be able to practice elsewhere. And soon as they got the certification, and St. Vincent they left. So and it's not a field that a lot of young people are going into. We have psychologists here and therapists, but we don't see Vincentian students going into psychiatry and going to school for it. We see lawyers and we see doctors or whatever, but we don't see nobody taking that up. But we need to have that addressed, because there are people who can be helped and who can live normal lives. You know what I mean? And occasionally we hear these stories. We hear them for the last couple of years. We hear at least once a year. We hear at least once a year of people going off and doing something violent. Our police killing one of these people. You know what I mean? There was this guy I knew very well. He used to sit at the top of Maka, sailing next to the gym, opposite the gym, on the other side of the road. And he used to always be sitting there. He would talk to you normal or whatever, say hi. He always used to be there. And then you hear that he had an interaction with the police and he had mental problems and the police shot him. He had a knife. You know what I mean? There's the famous incident with Gleason Lewis in Camden Park, where he I still like to say alleged, where he is alleged to have shot and killed a police officer and wounded one. You know what I mean? And then you understand that he was going through this for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and his parents, his family, other family members had actually moved out and left him in the house by himself because of how he was acting. And there was no proper intervention. And the day that he did the shooting, the psychologist was on her way to see him, but the police arrived first, and that is the result of what happened. You know what I mean? So yeah, as I said before, maybe it's time we try to offer scholarships. So we try to get scholarships to people to go overseas and study psychiatry. You know what I mean? And have some input in that field, because it's a big problem and it has been a problem for years. We had
the rehab aspect of the whole thing was missing too.
Yeah, there's no
rehabilitation. It's just institutionalize them and give them
for the rest of their life.
Yeah, but there's no real plan to return them to society as normal, fully functioning people.
Really, I don't know if you remember. You remember the guy we used to call I can't remember his name right now. We used to call him Suicide. He
Kamasha
Alexander, right? Kamasha had gone up on the school building back in our day, and he was attempting to jump off, and we were basically saying jump. We were halfway. Jump. We were halfway. So even back then, we didn't even realize that he had a mental problem. And Miss Fredericks, the wife of Pastor Fredericks at the time, had climbed onto the building and talked him down from there. And I don't think anybody realized at the time that he had issues. She managed to get him down. We had it as a big joke, and everybody went on with the life. But Kamasha now went on to a life of crime, where he became very violent. There was an incident where he had where the police had tried to arrest him, and he ended up naked in the street, and all those pictures went viral. Then a couple of years after, he was shot, and then he was charged for attempted murder, and his name was caught up in shooting.
All right, so that's Life Disappearing. He'll be back very shortly. All right, let me see. You wanted to say something, Rajiv?
Oh, no.
All right, let me just there's something I don't want you to say, but okay, let me wait for Life.
Sorry about that, my hand both up on the exit.
It's this.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So I was saying, eventually later down, he had some interaction with the police, and the police shot him and killed him. But then back then, you mean nobody couldn't realize that he had mental issues, and then that could have been avoided. There are a lot of cases where we see things that could have been avoided because the police officers, it's not only a civil, we don't have that. the problem we have in services, we don't have comprehensive programs to deal with these people. But a lot of times when when people with mental issues interact with law enforcement, they are killed. It's not just the killing part is not just a problem in service, but some of these countries, they have programs to deal with these people, but we just don't have it. And then when I read, if you know my friend that was kicked over, right? This is a really easygoing person, always smiling. You know what I mean? And then to go through something like that, to be kicked in the back, and then we had this story where the producer guy said that he was with the mentally unstable guy that put the gun to his head a few weeks ago, the fake gun to his head. It's just like these stories we keep hearing it, and then we had the incident where the mentally unstable man beat the guys in the tongue with a piece of pipe and kill one. You know what I mean? We just keep hearing these stories over and over and over again. And
the security guard who was who left work heading home from a night shift, I believe, who was stabbed in the neck. I think she was stabbed in the neck across Tokyo area.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But with all fairness, right? I did hear Major St. Clair Leacock say that they are going to look into the possibility of having some sort of program. He did say so.
Let me just address a couple of things that you raised. You were talking about that situation with Kamasha and schoolboys being boys, right? I would probably say that social media has helped to create a little bit more awareness in terms of what mental health issues look like. So I don't want to believe that in our society today, I'm hoping not, with all the information that is out there, that would happen now in terms of, so, it's like, yes, y'all were old enough possibly to understand what was happening, but maybe not the full extent of what was going on. So I want to believe that social media in a way has helped us, right? I also think what is interesting is that many of the times when we hear of persons not being okay are men, right?
Yeah.
You don't tend to hear a lot of women being violent or women to use, but a lot of the times when we hear of things happening, it's in relation to men. And I think one of the challenges that I see or I recognize is that, number one, men probably don't realize when they need help, and they don't speak up, and they don't let persons know that men can also go through things and for them to seek help. There's somebody, I don't know, I mean, the person made a post public on Facebook, but I probably don't want to mention the name on air, but a very popular guy in Vinci, he went through a situation about 5 years ago.
I saw the post.
Right. Yeah. He went through a situation about 5 years ago. And at the time when I heard of it, I heard that he had a mental breakdown. Now, it wasn't my business to find out what he went through or what caused it, etc. Right? Just offer up a prayer, send the thing, send my best wishes to him, etc. That's what it is that I did. But, he turned around. He said 5 years later, he detailed, well, not for the full extent, but he detailed exactly what it was that he was going through. And I was so happy to see that he did that on social media, because it allowed persons to understand, okay, so what he went through at that point in time, and that as a man, it's okay for you to let persons know when you are not okay. And that is the problem that I have with men, right? A lot of men is that you all go through things and you keep it inside, you keep it suppressed, and nobody knows what is happening. I have a friend I'm constantly in a thing with when I ask him, how are you? I'm okay, but I'm not okay, right? But I'm okay. But I'm there saying, if you're not okay, then just tell me that you're not okay, But men feel as if society doesn't allow them the avenue to be able to open up and to feel the emotions like how we as women feel, So I think that is also another problem that I have, that y'all don't open up and y'all don't speak to each other.
Yeah, it's I experienced that in a school chat group that I'm in, where I spoke about it here already, where with Calvin, DJ CJ, where he would be going through stuff. He would be going through stuff medically, physically, and we would never know. And he would be speaking as normal. So that's a problem where people men are kind of afraid to open up. I have had experiences where I realize certain things with people that are close to me and ask them what's wrong. And then they say, boy, listen, this is the problem or whatever. And I would say, yeah, boy, you need to get some help or whatever. I experienced that because I just say, like, sometimes we don't feel like we could talk to anybody or we don't want to seem like if we punks, you know what I mean? And the other words that the sometimes call us because we don't want to really talk about what we're going through. But it's very important to have friends that you could talk to about it. When Kamasha went up on the school, to be honest, right, thinking back, it never went through my mind that he had mental issues back then. It didn't. That didn't even cross my mind. That all crossed my mind is that he was being an idiot, and he probably wanted to go home from school, so he went up there to create a scene. And we were saying, jump, we want half day. You know what I mean? And then, like, after Miss Frederick went up there and talked him down or whatever, we just went back onto our daily lives and made jokes about it, saying, boy, why you didn't jump with the one half day? We could have, you know what I mean?
And you recognize from that he got the nickname Suicide with Stock.
Suicide, that they never came off from him after that day. It stayed with him. It stayed with him forever.
Which by itself could have been another situation as well, because every time he hears somebody referring to him as suicide, it's probably going to take him back to that moment in time in his life, you know? That's why people need to be careful with the nicknames that they give people, you know. But anyway.
Nicknames are a whole different thing, right? You usually get your nickname sometimes not because of something good you do, but something bad and the name stick. But yeah, we I talking about it again. We have a big problem. We have a big problem, and we need the people who are charged with taking this seriously, to take it seriously. You know what I mean? And that's just it. But
right, let me see. There's a comment here on the social media. Society doesn't allow men to be vulnerable. While I agree that social media has helped with the awareness of mental health issues, it has also created a lot of mental issues.
There are people, there are people who went on to commit suicide after interacting with social media and stuff like that because of how cruel people are.
Okay, so the person wants for me to mention a name. So that was actually Rodney Small who said it. And I remember I saw a post from him recently in terms of, it's social media, online bullying. And I think that is also another topic as well in that. And I see where he's coming from in that, okay, so you post something, you've given your opinion, like you Lyf, you know? Commentary, you know? Opinion on certain things and the way in which you are attacked or you are labeled, you know? And, I probably won't put myself in the same category like as Rodney because he's a lot more out there. But imagine if everybody or so many persons are coming at you for different things. They have so many different opinions. And nobody recognizes the impact or the toll that it takes on an individual.
Well, I used to be extremely active on Facebook at one point. Like I would comment on issues or whatever, and I would go back and forth with people or whatever. But I reached a point where I realized for myself that, listen, this is not healthy. This is not productive. This doesn't make any sense. So from what I understand, there were thousands of comments in relation to what I said about the Southern Grenadines thing. 2 weeks ago. From what I understand, there were thousands of comments. And if I saw 5 of these comments, I saw plenty because I do not go onto social media. I do not go onto Facebook to read these comments or see what people say. The only how I would see these things is when people send them for me. I ignore that totally. So some people need to understand that sometimes they just have to leave out the Facebook, leave out the social media, especially if you're a popular figure. I didn't know you're going to face criticism about certain things. Just leave it out. I leave it out. I don't go on and comment. So many people who I was told attacked me. It was really crazy. I didn't know that me and these people had issues. So many people that people said things, I don't even know them. I've never seen them. If I see them, I don't know them. I have never interacted with them. Some of the names I call are people who could have come under immense scrutiny from me and from other people, and I have never interacted with them in that sort of way. So, and then like Sunday, someone told me something that was said, right? And I was like, that is really strange, but I'm glad that I didn't go onto social media and see that, because it would make me angry. And I just leave it out. I do not go on and read these things. Sometimes when I turn on morning radio and I hear a comment being made, I just turn it off. I just turn it off. I do not listen to it. You know what I mean? If sometimes you listen morning radio, right? And that could spoil your entire day. It could spoil your entire week because of some of the ignorance that is spoken on morning radio. It could mash you up. So I don't listen. If I turn on a topic, I turn on the radio sometimes, listen to a station. From time I hear somebody make a stupid comment, that's it, pop, I turn it off. That's how I deal with that, because them things affect your mental health.
Yeah. I think what it is boundaries, right? And that's what I have had to establish, boundaries. I keep telling people, you see, when I come off air, if you ain't catch me on air to talk about a topic, don't raise it to me again. Do not raise it to me, because I am not talking about anything in my personal time that may have been said, and they catch me on air, right? Because the thing of it is, I recognize that if you don't set those boundaries, you are going to be constantly caught in a cycle. Now, the thing of it is that when you do commentary, you are going to have persons who agree with you, and you're also going to have persons who don't agree with you.
Disagree, exactly.
It is perfectly okay. I am okay with persons not agreeing with whatever it is that I said. If it's a point of correction, I have no problem with that. If I said something that's incorrect and you are correcting me on a factual point, it's different, right? But if it's a matter of opinion, no. And I have personally set my boundaries. It's difficult for me to be on social media constantly. It's difficult for me to be looking at my phone all the time to be updated. When it is like on social media, when it comes to Instagram and Facebook, I actually close them out, right? I don't have notifications coming to my phone for that, because I have to establish my own boundaries for my own mental health. The thing of it is that if I keep trying to keep in tune with every single thing, then what happens to me? And a lot of it is negative information. Let me just read one thing here before you continue, right? So Ronnie was saying something, and he's not saying this about just necessarily about himself, but in general, right? He says, I normally stay silent on a lot of things regarding social media, but you see, the thing where people are suffering silently because of social media bullies is an issue that requires clear and responsible action. There is a growing culture of online harassment that is causing people to suffer in silence. Mental health is not a trivial matter, and the consequences can be severe and irreversible. While I remain grounded and my 2 feet are planted firm, so persons don't phase him or push him down, it is important to recognize that not everyone has the same emotional or mental resilience. Words carry weight, and repeated negativity can cause real harm to individuals who may already be struggling privately. He urges greater mindfulness, responsibility, and restraint in how we engage with others online. The impact of our actions extends far beyond a screen, and cost of ignoring this reality can be devastating for our society. You also add, have a great day, everybody.
What I would like to say to Rodney may not know this, right? What I would like to say to Rodney, someone told me that Rodney had made some comments on social media and he was attacked for it, right? And while he may take that it's affecting him alone, it's not affecting him alone. Me and the people who are close to him who is affected more than him. You know what I mean? I usually speak to his mom occasionally when I go into the Macintosh market. I've known her for years, so sometimes when I go into the market to get my hair done, I will sit and speak with her. And I have had several conversations over the last couple of months with her. And I'm saying this to say that the comments that are placed on social media and things that are said about him on social media and on radio also affects her. And it seems to affect her more than it would affect him. So at that point now, as I said, I already pulled away from it. I don't go onto social media to say what is being said about me or whatever. But at that point now, you have to figure out, like, you know, if you still want to be vocal on social media, because it's not affecting you alone. It's affecting this lady who is a very nice lady. This lady don't trouble people. This lady goes about her business daily. If you sit and speak to her, she's a very nice person. She would talk to you. She would talk to you or whatever. She would reason or whatever. But the comments are affecting her now.
Because I guess she's Mama Bear. She would still be in protective mode, even though she has a big son, you know. But
yeah. there were times when my mom called me and say, people say this about this, people say that about you. Why you did? Why you said on radio? Why you said on what article you wrote and thing? I was telling her, ignore that. That's not true. They make that up just to like protect her mental health, because like so many things, them people who close to you and take it on more than you. You know what I mean? So
you have found a way to cope with it, but they are going to be more concerned about you, not realizing that you have found a way to deal with it.
Yeah. So it doesn't come a time when you're the public figure or whatever, you're under scrutiny or whatever. But just try your best not to respond, because the more you respond to something, the more you respond to a comment on social media, the farther you're taking it. It goes further when you respond. Like there's this very, very, very ridiculous person on social media. He lives overseas. I don't even want to call his name to give him relevance, because he was attacking me over something I said on this program a few weeks ago. They would attack me on social media back in the day, right? And I would never comment on nothing they said. Never. And then what you think happened? They started to use a different strategy. They started to attack people who were close to me to get my response. And that is what this is what some of these disgusting people do. When they can't get to you, they attack people close to you. And I had somebody who close to me who was an aspiring musician. I'm not gonna say who the person is, but the person was an aspiring musician, and the person had played at a popular concert, and they had some popularity, right? And the person is a family member of mine, a relative of mine, who very close to me, and they started attacking the person for no apparent reason, just to get to me. You know what I mean? And it was really strange to me, because this person was a teenager going to a top secondary school who never got involved with any sort of thing. The person was just innocent, living their life, and became popular because of music, and because they couldn't get to me on social media, they started attacking that person. And then when they started attacking another family member again who wasn't even involved in any political discussions, who would not comment. And so then after that, that's when I decided, listen, I'm pulling away from this. I'm not commenting on social media. I'm not writing anything, not because of me, but because of the impact it had on people close to me who wasn't involved in anything.
But one of my concerns though is that if we end up having people being silent, or we end up having people not wanting to take up certain responsibilities because of what others are going to say, where is that going to leave our society? Are we going to, let's say in the case of morning radio, are we going to only have persons who are going to go along a particular route or sing a particular song in favor of what the masses probably want to hear, right? But if you challenge something that is being said and you are attacked for what you're being said, then where does that leave situations like morning radio, persons who are vocal, who have an opinion on certain things, right? Where does that leave it? What about persons who are going to take up key positions, whether it's in government, whether it's in different departments, for making a contribution nationally? If you are going to take up these positions and persons are not trying to find constructive criticism, but they're going to be harboring on negative things, then who is supposed to take up the mantle? Nobody is going to want to do it, because why? I don't want to fear any kind of backlash. I don't want to be in that kind of spotlight. I don't want to face that kind of heat. You are going to have the key persons withdrawing themselves.
Yeah. That could be one of the negative effects.
We have a caller. Let me just take this caller quickly. Hi, morning.
Morning. Lyf, we know you're back, Brad, so don't try that.
I ignore that thing.
It's not now, it's long time. But if we analyze our society, we are bare hypocrites. There's a saying, all the world's a stage, and all of us are mere actors. We are all acting. Until we are honest with ourselves and remove that level of hypocrisy we have, especially when it comes to politics, our society will be in a better place. We'll be able to have debates, we'll have the dialogue, and just walk into traps, in conversations with people who I could reason with. And most of the time, they are one or two ignorant ones. I would drown them out, because they're just being loud, and they're just being loud, and they don't want you to want to be heard. They just want to get their point out, and because they don't even know, they didn't do any research, they don't know what they're talking about. They just have a political bias. They just want to be loud, and we have a lot of that out there. And that's why we find ourselves in a situation we is right now in our society. Now, recently, there were 2 incidents of rape.
Yeah,
on that.
Thanks for bringing that up. I was about to talk about that.
Why are we not loud? Why are we not screaming? Why are we not taking to the streets? Why are we not burning down heat? And what is going on in our society? Why are we not loud on the issues of so many young men out there lost, drop out of school, weed and drugs? Why are we not loud about all sorts of things? And I'm not saying these things because I could say them. I deal with them every single day. I come into interaction with parents and guardians who begging for help. And every way it's done in our society, in our institutions, there is none. So you get attacked when you go and you put your views on whether it be social media or whether you find yourself in the media in general, right? Because there are persons out there in these dark spaces, and they're using the internet as a ploy to come at you. Don't even know these people. They tell you things about your anatomy, about your mother, about your whole history, the things they don't even know about yourself, which sometimes you have to smile, but it is out there already, and it can have damning effects on your life. And as you guys have rightly said, it affects other people more than it affects you sometimes, because you don't see these things. And I tell people, don't send me them because I am not going to respond to them. You can't be in a cuss out to millions of people or thousands of people. You understand? If you want to reason, let's reason. If you want to argue, let's argue. We have difference of opinion, and that's fine. But until we start cleaning up our act, where we as a society stop being hypocrites, and I pause there. You see that one individual that we dare not mention his name? There are a lot of people who glorify what he does. There are a lot of Christians, I'm sorry to say Christians, there are a lot of people in our society who are fighting battles themselves, who their families have issues, and they applaud that man for attacking other people. You understand? That is the level of hypocrisy we find ourselves in. Every morning I listen to this program or whichever other program, and there's so many great points, but guess what? Nobody will be listening to these radio stations. They listen to the gossip over there, the uninformed rhetoric over there, and the stupidness that comes up, because that is what our society has learned to digest.
Okay? I catch the voice. You're back broad too, so you know what we're talking about. I catch the voice.
Once you tell me to come to the front of the class, I am present.
Definitely.
Parents are sit down in front, they go laugh.
Yeah, you tell me something a couple of days ago, and my response was, "Boy, you think I came with that?" You remember I was walking across the road. You say, "I think I came with that." Yeah.
I was making shut up to saying that down. But the final thing is, for those of us who know better, we could do better. And for those of us who can encourage others and have, influence. Because, one thing that I think our society lacks, mentor. If we have one person mentoring another, helping, you will see how this country develop. You will see a change.
But
I know if America happen.
But it's not even just so much mentors. I think we need to know who we can go to, right? So like if I have a problem, I need to know that Lyf is my safe space or Rajiv is my safe space. I can be able to just offload on them without them judging me. I think that is also another thing. People need to know who their safe spaces are.
I think it's self-assessment as well. I agree with you. I also think it's a self-assessment where I didn't know a few years ago that I was having, symptoms of depression, right? But I suspect something was off. I was moody. I was angry. I go to my former boss and I said, "This is how I feel." And he said, "You are going through depression, my brother." And I knew this one person who I could call any hour, anytime, and she is an amazing listener. And I chose her. And she was always been the person I go to when I think I need somebody to just offload, right?
Good.
And I think we have to look around our spaces, because sometimes we go to the wrong people. Sometimes they're the ones who
for real.
Not Bola Beautiful. Every time you can Bola Beautiful, somebody have an with that person, because they take advantage of their vulnerabilities. Prey on other people's vulnerabilities. So sorry to bring up Bowl, but that's my analysis on Bowl. But it's serious. Some people's when they see people hurting and they see people suffering, that's the right time to attack them because they're weak and they're at their lowest. And we have to know who, not just trust, who we can turn to. Right? So pick up Alice, good conversation, man.
All right. Thanks, John.
Yeah, take it easy.
You too, thanks.
You too.
All right, like 4 more minutes.
Yeah. What he said is very important, right? Yeah, you have to have somebody to go to. I read a quote last night that's saying that sometimes being a good friend or a good leader or a good listener, it had nothing to do with how intelligent you are. Just shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Just shut up and just listen sometimes. You know what I mean? And I like some of these people on social media who bombard social media with vile and bile and hypocrisy every day. They have to have underlying medical problems. I 100% think that these people who do this every day have to have underlying medical problems. That is not normal behavior.
I tend to think that people are unhappy with themselves, and because you're not happy with yourself, you are projecting it onto others. This is why I am so careful with who it is that I take opinions from, because not everybody are going to accept their opinion.
Yeah, they have.
Right. They have. So we're going to just take this final call and then you would wrap up. Joshua,
okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm very glad that you took my call. Lyf, there's an old saying. I know it's mango season in St. Vincent now. Nobody throws stones at fluffy mango.
It's true.
Right? Now, I didn't have an issue, but I had the opportunity to speak with Lyf. I thought he would just talk to me for 2 minutes. We end up talking for, we talked so much.
We spoke a while, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I told him what I liked about him and what I didn't really support about him. And we had a lovely conversation, just like I did with Charles. So keep on talking, man. I've had, over the years, I've had my tires slashed, my food tampered with, my folks tampered with. My daughter never stood for any nonsense. She actually body slammed a teacher one day. You know, the teacher said, whoever this Joshua just needs, he's got to be an idiot. He better get on the banana boat and go back to where he come from. My daughter calmly walked up and body slammed the techer right in the classroom.
No, we're not promoting that, right, Joshua? Let's just add that part. Okay.
No, I'm not promoting that. I'm just saying, keep on talking, because if you don't, I mean, I've been there. The only thing I've never had was a gunshot wound, but I've had everything else you could think of. So keep on talking, and nobody gonna keep my mouth shut, right? Even from 2,000 miles away. When I come to St. Vincent, I get these calls like, we know where you're staying.
Wow.
That is scary. That is scary.
What? Right. And me and you will never agree on Trump.
I don't think anybody in Joshua would agree on Trump. When Joshua starts, just leave him.
Yes. That's my man. That's my man.
We go agree on other things, but not Trump.
Even though you support the Duppy Conqueror or the World Boss, and I don't, you know, I still love you guys.
Exactly, definitely. Different opinions.
All right. All right, have a good one, Joshua. All right,
yeah. So basically, we need proper mental health. You see the conversation move from mental health. Well, it's still mental health because it affects, all of it ties into one another. So as I don't know if I noticed what you call a name. Now Joshua the one before, I noticed a call name. I don't know if he wanted people to know who he was, right? But I noticed a call name. Yeah.
That's fine, huh?
Yeah. So he said rightfully, have a safe space, have somebody you could call and talk to, express yourself, a good listener, somebody who want to go back and take your pain and spread it. You know what I mean? It's always important for this. You know what I mean? So I think that is how I managed to ignore certain things and just leave certain things and all and laugh. You know what I mean? Because the comments that generated from the Southern Grenadines discussion, it was a lot of comments from what I'm understanding. People were telling me, right? And I would just laugh. I don't care. You know what I mean?
That is your personality, though. Like you are always laughing.
Yeah. Before I would have been back and forth with people and I would call people name and call people out on the meeting. They say, why are you doing that? Is everybody entitled to their own opinion? If you think I'm an idiot for saying it, if if you think I'm an idiot for saying what I said, you think so. If you think that I am double cross somebody, was disloyal to somebody, that is your opinion. You know what I mean? Somebody say, somebody tell me Sunday, somebody said they revoke my journalist card. Okay, well, revoke. How you gonna do? I ain't sure how you gonna do, but you know, it's just jokes. I just laughing while you over there carrying up your blood pressure and feeling a way about things I say. I ain't even seeing what you say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've asked people not to tell me things. Leave it, though. I don't want to hear that. You know, keep they say that. That's their business. You know what I mean? They have to know what's going on in their life. That they could spend 3-4 hours attacking me on social media. They have to know what's going on in their life. I'm not that unhappy to be spending all them kind of times doing that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Picture you on Facebook cussing me for 4, 5, 6 hours, and I ain't a brunch.
Are you just doing something else? It's like, yeah, it's
you take your whole Saturday and Sunday for cuss me, and I did so just nice with good company, eating and drinking something nice. You know what I mean? And that's just weird behavior to me. That's just weird behavior. Yeah. So just one more thing before I go. The rapes. I saw a friend of mine post last night that there was footage of a guy in somebody's house in the Langwall area, and like they seem to have identified the guy, and they asking the public to look out for him and call the police if they see him. Is a serious thing, because you know we saw a 90-something-year-old woman being raped a couple days ago, and then we saw another young lady being sexually assaulted in a van. And then we see this person in this person's house. They say it was an elderly lady's house, also a person who I know very well, a very nice person, a very nice elderly lady, you know. And this man inside the house, and the CCTV pick him up or whatever, and he's just there, and you know what I mean. So let we keep a sharp lookout, because it seems like if this person is a predator, and let me just be our brother's keeper and look out for our neighbors and keep out for this person and help the police to get this person off the street, because what he doing is very dangerous, you know what I mean? And yeah, we just keep a lookout on that, you know? Maybe that's a topic for another day. All right, so you all enjoy the rest of your day. Stay off social media where people cussing you and go live your life. Go live your life.
Just find other things to do. Everything can't just be about social media. Find a hobby. Take up sewing.
And remember, when you're deciding you're going to interact with people on social media and cuss back with them, remember it might not affect you. It might affect somebody close to you. It will affect. And I have a friend who used to cuss them for me. that was the person's job. Anybody say anything about me, she would be on social media back and forth and cuss them. And I had to tell her, man, leave them alone. Don't do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So because the comments used to affect her more than they affect me. Because she's seeing them and I wasn't seeing them, you know, and that's what we have to understand. Sometimes when we go interact with people, they're going to affect we mother, they're going to affect we sister, they're going to affect we brother, we auntie, we close friends more than how it can affect you. So let me just be careful with that. And I leave you out with that today. You know what I mean?
All righty. So that was our commentary with Lyf. Bye, Lyf. See you tomorrow.
Yeah. See you tomorrow. Later, Rajiv.
Yeah, later, Lyf.
Yeah.
That was our commentary with Lyf this morning. Generally, in essence, on mental health, but we were talking about mental health issues and how do we contribute to other person's mental health. All right. So I think that was a good conversation.
It was.
All right. So with that, we are heading on out of this segment. Next talk segment might be around 8:45, 8:50, somewhere across there. But anyhow, our time check, our time here in SVJ is 8:33, and our time check came to you with the compliments of New Haven Funeral Home.
Death